Welcome to part 3. Right here we got the rifle rib. Looks pretty dirty. Same with the tang. We're going to work on cleaning our parts up on this video with this rust dissolver. So let it soak in there for 30 minutes. Any rusty parts you want to clean up, like screws, that'll work. Okay, now I'm just going to wipe down the rib. I didn't show you disassembling this part, but this part is right under the barrel. This is what holds your thimble and your ramrod. Alright, so now we're going to do some brass cleaning. Just use some salt and some flour and white vinegar. Mix equal parts. That's what I didn't do, but I thickened it up with some more flour. And what this is going to do is this is going to take the brass and clean it up and eat all the tarnish off of it. So just take all your brass pieces like the butt plate and everything else and soak it in there and for about 10 minutes and then rinse it off. And after rinsing it off, give it a good wipe with a towel. And then I took steel wool. I didn't have a regular steel wool. I had like a dishes steel wool with the soap. That's why I got that blue soap everywhere. But yeah, just keep working on it, and that'll get your brass all shiny. So yeah, I'm going to install this as I go. So putting the butt plate back on there, pretty easy. You just got the 2 screws there. Just try not to cross thread into the wood, and then I'm buffing it out there. Yeah, it's turned out pretty nice. Alright, on with the ramrod. And yeah, having a buffer and some kind of Dremel is very helpful. Alright, moving on to the patchbox door or plate, whatever you want to call it. So next time I'm going to find a different way to soak all my brass and get the tarnish off of it, because this way was really messy. Now as you can see, I use that rust remover to eat up the lock. Back to our trigger guard there, making it look real nice and shiny with that steel wool. Next time I'm going to have some actual steel wool that isn't for dishes. That way I don't get soap everywhere. Alright, got trigger assembly in there. Okay, so putting the patch box together was a little bit challenging. I had to use my hand and line up the hinge on the bottom, and also I had to put the screw in holding the bit again, just because I don't have a small enough screwdriver to get it out of there. But as you can see, it cleaned up really nice. This is the hardest part, is just lining up the hinge and the little spring, if you want to call it that. Once you get it lined up, it should be flush with the stock. The brass piece is cleaned up really nice. Alright, I'm cleaning up that trigger assembly now with the brush. Okay, so now we got the wedge plates. I know I'm skipping around here, but I'm trying to keep the video interesting. Brass is cleaned the same way, and then your wedge. I know I didn't show how the wedge in the barrel comes off of your gun, but stay to the end of the video and you'll see everything get assembled. Alright, now we're going to put on the lock. So the first time I did this I messed up, but I'll show you guys again. So see how I have it forward in the forward position? You want to have it back. But when you're putting this in, you want to make sure you don't chip any of the wood. So this was the only footage I got of that. And don't forget your set screws in there. I didn't show you guys this, but this is the retaining spring. On the disassemble video in part 2, I lost the footage, so you guys get to see the footage, not only this part of the video, but later in the video where I put the whole trigger assembly and lock back together. So this is going to fit in there with the set screw for your lock right through the hole, and it's going to be curved downward. So that's how it fits in there. And then the tang goes on just like that. Fits just like a puzzle. Alright, now, like I said, my lock was not working and my trigger assembly wasn't working correctly. So I wound up taking some lubricant and using it around my lock. And tested it out, worked it in there. And then, as you can see, now I have the hammer in the cockback position, and that's how you want to install it. For me, this is how it worked, so this is why I'm showing the footage again. Put your tang on first. As you can see, the tang is on with the screw that screws to the bottom of the trigger assembly. Again, make sure your lock is on nice and tight. And for your trigger assembly, you want to make sure that it goes straight up in there. And then for your screw, you want to make sure that screws down straight onto your trigger assembly. Alright, now you want to test out your trigger. You want to make sure that your safety works too. So cock it back once, it's not engaging, which is good. Cock it back again, and the hammer engages. Now another tip that I learned was your back lock screw also makes a difference between your trigger and how sensitive your trigger is. So if you have that really tight, your trigger might not work. But if you have it too loose, your trigger safe. I mean, you just have to adjust your lock screw just right. That's why you see me going back and forth and adjusting it to make sure that the trigger actually works correctly. Now again, I can't stress this enough. Do not forget your retaining spring. Alright, sorry for all that, but I mean, at least you got to see it twice, and you can learn that I'm a beginner, obviously. So now on to the trigger guard. This was a little bit tricky because this fits in there pretty darn tight. So I found it easier to put the front of the trigger guard in first, even though you see me trying to get it all in. Just put the front in first, screw it down. Then after that, you can make sure you position yourself and pull back to where it snaps into place and it's flush with the stock. If you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up, because we're getting to the good part right now. Alright, so we're going to get the wedge plates on and get ready to put our barrel on and install it like I was telling you earlier. After that, we're going to get the rifle nose cap. Alright, there's my receipt from Deer Creek Products. You can see how much I paid for my new barrel and my nipples. This came very well packaged and shipped to me in 3 days. They got it oiled up, and they even threw in an extra nipple. So yeah, you could see the difference between the original barrel and this barrel. This barrel is a little bit longer, so I am going to have to get a longer ramrod in the future. Alright, now install the thimble. And you first have to do this because if you put the rifle rib on your barrel, you will not be able to insert your screw for the thimble because it faces the underneath your barrel. Okay, once that's fastened, we can now put it on the barrel. You want to make sure you line up your holes with your other screw holes on your barrel. I had it flipped around, so just flip the other way. And get that mounted on there. Now get the barrel tenon and don't forget to put that on. That is what the wedge plate goes through. Well, the wedge goes through when it goes through your wedge plates. Make sure it's faced the right way. Now this is a little bit of a pain. I don't have a punch set, so I just use the back of my screwdriver. And this is how it should go on the barrel. I do have a hooked barrel. It is a 5/16 and is a 28-inch barrel. Alright, make sure your hook is faced that way. And bring that down in there. The powder drum should sit right in position. And once that's ready and in position, you now can punch your wedge down. Just be careful. Alright, now the barrel's fastened. If you guys watch this video to the end, please subscribe because I'm going to be releasing part 4 here in the near future, where I show you guys how to mount dovetail sights onto the barrel. And then eventually we are going to have a video shooting this gun. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys.